Hey everybody, I'm Katie. This is the Book Buddies and welcome to our channel. That's a really bad intro. This is like the third time I've tried to make this video, so yeah. Anyway, this video though is my November wrap-up and my December TBR, and my wrap-up is very tiny and my TBR is mountainous. Yep. So for my wrap-up, I read a total of 3 books, which is really tiny, but those are the ones that I read. So let's move on. The first book that I read in November was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. By Robert Louis Stevenson. This is a really good book. I really enjoyed it. It's very tiny, very short. But this is the kind of story that I'm really into. So, you know, like the weird creepiness, but it's not, yeah, I think you know what I mean. This book is about Dr. Henry Jekyll that turns himself into Mr. Edward Hyde, and the story is very simple, but with a very complicated undertone. Like, it's very strange. It's very nice though. Mr. Hyde is a psycho, basically, homicidal maniac, and Dr. Jekyll is very calm and very kind. So it's very, they're very separate, but they're the same person. A very interesting thing about this book is that I thought that it was going to be in the perspective of Dr. Jekyll or of Mr. Hyde or something like that, but it was actually in third-person point of view, following Dr. Jekyll's lawyer for the first half of the book. And in the second half, the lawyer is reading Dr. Jekyll's letters, and then that's how the story progresses, and it's just very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I kind of wish it was longer and that he had put more into the story, because that would have been really cool, but he didn't, and I'm happy with this one still. So yes, 5 out of 5 stars, because it's my kind of book. The second book that I finished this month was Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Book 1, The Lightning Thief. This book, so good. The beginning to one of the best middle grade or just series in general ever, in my opinion, because I love this story, I love the characters. I love the companion series to it, which is like the sequel series. I'm not really sure if it's a companion series. Is it a companion series? Is that what that's called? Anyway, the sequel series to this series, which is just as good, if not even a little bit better. I haven't read the last 2 books, so I wouldn't know for sure if it's as good or better. But anyway, yes, 5 out of 5 stars for this one. If you don't know what Percy Jackson is about, it is about a boy named Percy Jackson, whom is a half-blood, and a half-blood is the illegitimate son or daughter of a... Illegitimate? Is that the right... You know what? Anyway. A half-blood is the son or daughter of a god or goddess from Greek mythology, and it's just really good. It's just really good. This series is what got me into Greek mythology, and as you can see, I have Homer's Iliad and Odyssey now, and then I want to buy a book of just random stories and myths. Have to wait for that though, because I bought too many books the last couple months. Last few months I've gotten too many, but yes. So I may or may not even just go on to reread the entirety of this series now. The third book I finished is under my mountain. Hold on. Ah! You fell over. You fell over. You see that you're just sitting on books? You fell over again. You were really bad at standing up. Really bad at it. Okay. So this book is Lord of the Rings. You're tilted. Don't fall over, you stupid, is The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, by J.R.R. Tolkien. Funny story, and this kind of goes into my TBR. Funny story, for years, I've thought that I finished this series. But I found out while listening to the audiobooks that I did not. I finished The Hobbit several years ago, and I finished The Fellowship of the Ring several years ago. And then I started the second book, The Two Towers, and got extremely far into it. Like, I had maybe 10 chapters left, which is still kind of far away from the end, considering the chapters are like 20 pages. But, I mean, that was as far away from the end that I got before I just stopped reading it. I don't know why I stopped reading it, but I did. And then, I guess, because I know the stories so well from the movies and just my siblings talking about them and my cousins talking about them and my entire family being kind of obsessed with this story, I thought that I finished all of them. I don't know. But, yes, so I finished The Two Towers via audiobook because, I didn't want to stop the book because the reader is really good. So, I'll be reading The Return of the King out of this gorgeous copy and kind of listening to it too, because it's actually a lot easier to read these books while you're listening to the audiobook because he says words correctly so you know how to say them, and he sings the songs, and it's just really fun to listen to him. So that's what I'll be reading. That's the first thing I'll be reading this month. And then, oops, you fell again. And then the next two books that I'll be reading are, why do you keep falling? The next two books that I'll be reading are books that I've been reading last 2 months, and they are The Host by Stephanie Meyer and Eon by Alison Goodman. I'm finally getting to like really interesting parts of the story. Like this one finally got going, and this one finally got going. So, I mean, I'm only on like page 120 something, and I'm on chapter 17, whichever page that is, I don't want to look. But, yes, so I'll be finishing these two this month. I got out of my slump this month, which is really nice, so I'm kind of overdoing it with the books. But I think the reason that I got over my slump was because I was listening to audiobooks instead of straight up reading. So I listened to the audiobooks of The Lord of the Rings, and I listened to a little bit of the audiobooks of these because I was at work. So I think that was what helped. It was listening to them instead of straight up reading. But yes, anyway, these two. So, like I said, I'm a little bit overdoing it with the books that I'm going to be reading this month. Like, a lot overdoing it, actually. But we'll be getting into that now. So I have those three, and then I have on the top of my stack The Pirate's Wish by Cassandra Rose Clark. This is the sequel to the Assassin's Curse, which I have over there for some reason. And I read the Assassin's Curse in August or September. I think I read them in September actually, and I really enjoyed it. 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then because of my slumps, I was just like, I don't really want to read this right now, but I'm going to read it this month because it's December, and December for me means fantasy, so this works. This is perfect. And I'm not going to tell you what that one. Why do you keep tilting and falling over? You're being really annoying, camera. And since that one's the sequel into a series, or the sequel in a duology, I will not be telling you what that one is about. Same goes for this one, which is The Magician, the second book in the Mortal Nicholas Flamel series by Michael Scott. This is the second book in the series, so I won't be telling you anything about it. And there's 5 books in this series, and they're really good. If you like alchemy and magic and gods, which is interesting, from different areas of mythology, Egyptian, Celtic, Gaelic, English. I think there's a little bit of Greek and Roman in there, Chinese. These are really good. The next book that I have here is a book that I've had for 4 years. 4 years, 4 or 5, 4 or 5. I think I've actually had it for 5. Whenever 7th grade was. And it is the second book in the Dragons of Starlight series, Warrior, by Brian Davis. I read the first book in 7th grade, and I really liked it. And then I picked up this one and the sequel that same year, and I got a little bit into it, as you can see, because I don't read with bookmarks anymore much. But I did get a little bit of ways into it, and then I just stopped reading it for some reason. So I wanted to finish the series this year. I didn't, but I wanted to at least get to the second book, so that's why this one's in this pile. But if I'm going to not be reading any of these, this is probably going to be the one that I end up not reading. So, yeah. That series as a whole is about, or the first book anyway, because I want to tell you something about that one, because it's very interesting. It is about 2 worlds, one where we're just humans, and then one called Starlight, where the dragons treat humans as slaves. And it was originally just dragons, and then the dragons crossed over into our world and took humans. But the humans, it's not our world, it's a different world that's just humans. That kind of reminds me of medieval England. But anyway, those humans think that it's all a myth, and it didn't actually happen. So it's about people from that world finding Starlight and then trying to save the humans in Starlight. And it's very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why I didn't finish it, but I don't really remember fully everything that happened. I remember most of it, but yeah. And then the next book that I have here is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I don't actually know anything about this book except that it is about a boy that lives in a graveyard. But that's it. I know that Neil Gaiman's fairly known for making kind of creepy books, so I think that this one is good for me because I kind of like the creepy and dark. I really love dark stories for some reason, like cartoons, movies, books, comics, TV shows in general, like all of it. I like really dark stories, so I think that this one will be fun and awesome. And this one's kind of floppy. It's not as floppy as the others. Sad day. It's gonna fall. The next book that I have here is Artemis Fowl, The Time Paradox by Owen Colfer. This is the 6th book in the Artemis Fowl series, therefore I will not be telling you anything about it. But this book series is one that I tend to listen to the audiobook while reading because the reader for these audiobooks is really good too. So this one probably won't take me too long to read because I'll probably listen a lot to the audiobook and then read and then listen and then read. But this whole series is one that I plan on finishing before the end of the year, so I might end up just not buying the other ones until next year and then just listening to all the audiobooks. So I'm kind of adding those into this. Kind of. I may or may not get to do that. Oop. And then my next book is The Iron Trial by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. This is the first book in the Magisterium series. I don't know how many books are supposed to be in this, but this book I started in October and I was enjoying it. It was very interesting and very fun, but I just was not in the mood in October, so I put it down. And I'm going to pick it up again this month, and I'm going to read it. And this book is about a boy named Callum who goes into the Iron Trial. And if you get past the Iron Trial, you can go into the magic school, the Magisterium. And the problem with that is that Cal has been told his whole life that if he goes into the Magisterium, he'll die, basically. So he's terrified of it. But he ends up failing, so he's terrified of it, and so he tries to fail the Iron Trial, And he actually fails at failing the iron trial, and I had actually just gotten past that when I was like, oh, I need to put it down or I'm not going to like it as much as I would. Back is itchy. Itchiness. Ah, itchy. Why do you keep falling? You have no reason to fall. You're perfectly level. What is wrong with you, camera? I need a drink. Getting lipstick on glasses. Don't fall. Okay, and then the last book is a book that I was supposed to read last month and completely and utterly forgot about it. And it's actually just a story. And it is Alibaba and the 40 Thieves out of this Arabian Nights book. I totally forgot about it. Completely and utterly. It left my mind, and yeah, I don't know. So this is probably one of the first ones I'm going to be reading this month because I want to finish it. And because I didn't finish this one and I still haven't finished Eon, which was my TBR pick for 2 months ago, I will not be picking one out of my TBR jar. So there's that. Now, and I'm not sure what it's about or who it's by. Translated by Sir Richard Francis Burton. I know that much. Anyway, so y'all might be thinking, what are you doing reading 10 books? And I'm not completely sure what I'm doing reading 10 books. But I probably will be adding more to this because Christmas is coming up and I asked for a few books for Christmas. So I'm probably going to be getting some there and trying to read them. And then, yeah, but most of these are books that I've been wanting to read all year, or for a long time, like Warrior, and Warrior, the Artemis Fowl books, The Magician, those ones especially I've been planning on reading since the beginning of the year, and The Pirate's Wish. I want to read that before the end of the year, because if I don't, I'm probably not going to read it, and I want to know what happens. But if I don't read it now, I'm probably going to forget. And then the Iron Trial, I want to read it. Like, I just want to read them. I know, I'm crazy. Totally insane. Completely insane. But that's, I mean, come on. They're fun. I love to read. My reading slump's over, and there's no excuse for me not to now, except for Christmas. But, you know, I've already got all my Christmas presents. All I have to do is help with the decorating. Yay. I hate decorating for Christmas. Ugh. I like the way it looks, but I don't want to do it. Anywho, that's my TBR, and I guess I'll do a stack. Okay, this is Fiha. That's not gonna work. Okay, put you down here. And you all up there. Is that all of you? 1, 2, 3, 4. But take you off at the bottom. 1, 2, 3. I'm dropping everything. They're just falling over. This is a really bad stacking thing. Whatever. It works. I think this is all of them. I think that this is all of them. Okay. We're lift off. Okay, guys. Okay. So these, I'm backing up pretty far. These are all my books for this month. There's 10 of them and I'm insane. Too many. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Making sure I had them all. And me and Kayleen were going to add the Christmas Carol, but we were like, we should probably just wait till next year. So that's when we're going to be starting the book club, but officially, it's already up on Goodreads. I'll leave a link to it down below, but we're not going to be adding any books for the read-along stuff until January. So, guys, I'd pull a book off, but I'm kind of afraid that I'll just drop everything. So, Bye!